Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2024. Yeah, so this is our first video of 2024. Long time no see. I apologize. Not getting videos out. Quick update. Julie ditched me, went back to the States for a little while in December, spent time with family. I was in Istanbul alone, eating to my heart's content, all the garbage I can possibly eat. And we are currently in
Bulgaria.
Burgas, Bulgaria. So we've got some updates about Schengen. So if you're slow travelers like Julie and I are dreaming of it, this is going to impact you and hurt you probably.
Pretty much.
So real quickly, if this is your first video with us, Julie and I, we travel with our two dogs. We've been traveling going on 4 years now, full time, and we spend a lot of time over the last 3 years here in Europe. We have a home in Montenegro that we use as our home base that we're going to be spending a lot more time in going forward as our non-Schengen location. And so if you're interested in real estate or interested in knowing more about Montenegro, because that's going to come into play later in this video, send me an email at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to put you in contact with some of our best realtor friends out there. Also, if you're looking for residency there, if that's something you're looking for, reach out to me. We have some different options there. But we'll circle back to Montenegro.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got bad news.
Pretty much. Romania and Bulgaria will be joining the Schengen zone. And if any of you know about Schengen, it is frustrating as can be for a non-EU citizen.
Yes. So for those of you not sure what Schengen is, the Schengen was a group of 27 countries, now a group of 29 countries with Romania and Bulgaria joining the pact.
In March. This year.
Yes. So they are doing a partial Schengen entrance, which means as slow travelers, you get all the pain and none of the pleasure out of Schengen. When we look at Schengen as Americans, and if you're coming from a non-EU country, you have to look at all those 29 countries as being one country.
Correct.
So we can spend 90 days every 180 days in the zone.
And if you're coming by land, really you only get 88 days because the first day that you enter and the day that you leave count as one each.
That's true. That's very true. So you have now these two new countries in Schengen, and as Americans, you can spend 180 days. Out of 180 days, you can spend 90 days in the zone. You can choose to spend all that time in one country. Maybe you want to fly into Germany and then fly off to Thailand and do 90 days, that's fine. But if you fly into Germany and then you want to go spend time in France, you want to go spend time in Italy, go over to Croatia, Slovenia, Hungary, and up to Poland, those countries are going to share the same 90 days.
They are.
So you can't just go across a border and start a different 90 days. That's all inclusive. So Romania and Bulgaria were countries that we knew were eventually going to join.
Right.
And we told you in our videos on Romania and Bulgaria at that time, when we were doing those videos, that one of the drawbacks about investing there, if that was going to be your Schengen go-to or non-Schengen go-to, that it's eventually going to change. And now
it is.
Yeah, so now with this partial Schengen acceptance, this means that you can fly into, say, Frankfurt, Germany, and go through passport control there. And then when you fly into Bulgaria, Romania, you don't have to do passport control. You just go in, just like you were flying from Arizona to Florida.
Right.
Now, if you were to come there by boat, so you're going to come through the Black Sea, and you're coming from Romania into Bulgaria, you don't have to go through passport control. But if you're going to drive across the border to Macedonia, or if you're going to drive across to from Romania going into Hungary, you're going to still have to show your passport. I shouldn't have used Macedonia as an example because they're not Schengen. But if you're going to drive from the Schengen country of Romania now to the Schengen country of Hungary, you're going to have to show your passport. You're still going to have to go through a border control. And so you're not getting any of the land benefit of this being a passport-free zone. Part of the good part about being in Schengen for these countries is that their EU citizens or people inside the zone can just easily drive all the way from Poland to Portugal without ever having to pull out the passport. You
Right.
don't ever have to stop. It's just like driving from New York to California.
And we can tell you the Hungarian border going into Romania or going into Bulgaria, Hungarian border going into Romania, going into Serbia, it's exhausting. Those sometimes are 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah, the Schengen border crossings are typically terrible. And so this brings us to our recent border crossing. We just drove from Istanbul up here to Burgas, Bulgaria, where we are now.
Correct.
And we had the most
Exhausting.
exhausting time going across the Bulgarian border. I think they're trying to make sure they're impressing the inspectors for Schengen.
Dot your I's, cross your T's, be ready for a lot more difficulty. We actually saw people pulling out suitcases and they were going through suitcases.
And we pulled out the insurance paperwork because from December 2023, and then we had to go back and find the new one that showed that expired in 23 to show the new 2024. My God, you would just think we were like
Terrorists.
yes, we were treated so awfully. And then they want to inspect your bags. We're watching everybody getting their bags taken out.
Mm-hmm.
Our dogs' paperwork were scrutinized like they've never been scrutinized. Normally we just show the paperwork, and
Correct.
if they ask for it, most times they don't, but you show the paperwork, the EU passport, and
Yes.
boom, we're on our way. But man, they were just trying to. It felt like they were trying to screw with us, and
Pretty much, and they were pretty upset over that expired insurance. So, but we did have the right insurance. We just didn't have it in hand. So, watch your P's and Q's.
There's a green card that you have to have when you're traveling around Europe, and ours expired on December 6th. When we went into Turkey, we had our correct one out, and that's the one we were using for the last 6 months. But we forgot to take out the other one out of the envelope, and it was lost somewhere inside the glove box, and we had to find it. But yeah, it was tough. But I'm assuming the Romania border, if you're coming in from Serbia, is going to be difficult now too. They're going to be Schengen borders, and so the Schengen is very strict about borders. They don't want people coming in illegally. They are doing everything they can to make sure that only EU citizens and properly documented folks can come in. There's no ambiguity about, hey, I'm going to sneak across the border, or there's, in the United States we have our own issues. In Europe they're doing a lot to try to fight this stuff. So when we have the Schengen in these different countries, they are now going to be bringing in something called ETIAS in 2025.
Yes.
And so right now we as Americans can come into Europe and we travel visa free, but you're going to have to sign up for ETIAS, and it's a European system to track you that you have to apply for once every 5 years.
Right.
And
I think it's €7 a person.
it's not expensive, but that's going to start in the spring of 2025 to where they're tracking you when you come into the Schengen throughout all of the countries.
Yes. It is just getting more and more difficult. We won't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, we won't. But I will tell you that, Julie and I, if you've been following us, we have our solution is in Montenegro. If you're not familiar with Montenegro, it's a beautiful country. 650,000 people on the Adriatic. We call it the Jewel of the Adriatic. And if you're ever looking to go check it out, I recommend the Budva Riviera, starting in the area of Petrovac on the Adriatic, going all along the coast up to Herceg-Novi towards Croatia. And that entire area in between on the coast is very, very good as far as if you're looking at investing. There's some good properties there.
And Petrovac is a beautiful, beautiful little place.
It is. We owned a home in the old town of Kotor for a very long time. We just bought a new place on the Kotor Bay that's in the Tavat area. But you have a growing international expat community, so it's not dominated by Americans. There's probably more Russians there than anybody, but as far as expats, but you have a very international group of people from all over the EU, from Asia, from Americas.
And we think it's actually going to become more valuable at this point because now, there are fewer and fewer non-Schengen countries.
Yeah, yeah. I'm from looking at the EU Schengen countries and looking at what's not Schengen right now. Montenegro is very attractive. When you've got Serbia, which we actually enjoy going to Serbia quite a bit. Zlatibor in the ski area, as well as Novi Sad, great little city, and going up towards Hungary, good places to consider for your Schengen escape. But for Montenegro, you can get a ferry over to Italy, or you can drive across the border into the Schengen country of Croatia. Dubrovnik is right there. But you also have non-Schengen countries surrounding it. So you have your area with Bosnia, and Mostar is a pretty area not far away if you wanted to drive up there. And driving into Serbia is pleasant. And then, of course, you got the very inexpensive country of Albania nearby.
And we're going to actually be spending time in Sarande in March for a full month, actually. A lot of people have asked us about Albania. We're going to actually give it a full dive in and see what we think.
Yeah, I'm trying to reset my mind on Albania. We were there during one of our Montenegro vacations before we retired, and we were not impressed, at least not with the Durrës area. So I'm going in with an open mind. We've got some friends that have been spending time at Sarande that are absolutely loving it. That's down there by the Greek border near Corfu. And so we're going to spend a month there in a couple months. First, we're going to head to Sicily for 7 weeks and hang out there. It's we're trying to get a little bit of warmer weather here in Europe. But Sicily is going to be part of Schengen. So that's going to be 7 weeks of Schengen time.
And that's been a bucket list for us. Yeah. We have been dying to go to Sicily.
And when we're done with Albania, we're going to go back to Montenegro for 90 days. And then we'll leave the first week of July and come back the first week of October to Montenegro. And in between there, we're going to drive up to Copenhagen, to Oslo, to Kiel, Germany. We'll spend, I think, a month in Kiel, Germany, and then we're going to spend 7 weeks at Hensby Beach near Norwich in the UK, which also UK is not Schengen, so that won't count against us.
To correct you, it's actually 4 weeks in Hemsby, and then we're also doing Scotland.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're going up to Scotland. And then we'll do our drive back into Montenegro, but we're going to focus more on doing 90 days in Montenegro and 90 days out than doing 90 days in Schengen and 90 days out, because we really love our little life in Montenegro. We've got good friends there, good community, and so we want to get to feel a little bit more stability at being there. So Montenegro, if you're looking for a place to call home as a nomad or to have as a home base, you have the ability to open a corporation there. You have to pay a minimum monthly tax. And then you can leave as you want to leave. You don't have a certain amount of time that you have to be in Montenegro.
Right.
If you do home residency, you can get you own a home, you can get residency in Montenegro very, very easily. However, you are restricted to how much time you can leave. So you can only leave for 1 month a year, unless you have a good excuse, then you can leave a second month. That's too restrictive for us. So while we own a home, we have chosen not to do that. But if you
didn't follow those rules, then you have to restart your residency from scratch. That means apostille documents, everything, every year. And it's actually frowned upon. So, you kind of don't want to do that.
But we don't want to go too far into the residency aspects right now, because we have a new residency expert that we are going to do a video with. We might do a Zoom interview with him and get that out here in the not too distant future. But if you have questions about Montenegro, check out our videos. We've got quite a big group on our playlist, information on Montenegro, so check that out.
But honestly, just know that now 29 countries going Schengen definitely isn't great for us and types of travelers like us. And the border rules are getting harder and more restrictive. So keep that in mind when you are looking to do this life.
Yeah. Your other non-Schengen option, I guess we should mention, is also Macedonia, if you want to be specific, Northern Macedonia.
Albania.
So Albania,
Montenegro,
of course, Bosnia, Montenegro, Moldova.
Ukraine.
Ukraine, of course, you don't have a whole lot of people choosing to jump into Ukraine at the moment, or Moldova at the moment.
Turkey.
And Turkey is there. And, I just spent a good amount of time in Turkey. I know there's a lot of people that have voiced concern about being in Turkey at this specific time. as an American, and I will tell you that I didn't feel that there was an issue. I think most people there, even if you're not politically in the same mindset with them, just look at you as a person. Turkey is a country that initially, with Julie twisting my arm to go to, I didn't really want to go, but it's turned out to be one of the countries we've gone to the most.
Yep.
And have enjoyed going to. It may be quite a while till I get back there again because we've got our plans pretty much taking us to 2025 at this moment.
And we've spent a lot of time in Turkey. We've actually spent over 10 months collectively in Turkey.
Yeah.
Well, Warren actually got 2 additional weeks beyond me, but and this last time we did Istanbul. So
yeah, and I've spent a couple Christmases in Turkey. I'm looking forward to spending Christmas in Montenegro next year.
3 Christmases.
Yeah. Yes, 2 in 2 in Istanbul, 1 in Antalya so far, but we're looking forward to doing Christmas next year in Montenegro. But anyhow, these are the headlines now for Schengen. If you haven't subscribed, we hope you subscribe to our channel, that you're going to follow along, and also if you don't know, as far as medical insurance. Julie and I, we travel. We have medical insurance on us. We have $1 million of coverage, $2,500 deductible. Rates have unfortunately gone up 9% this year, so I think we're going to be around $230 some starting 2024 for both of us to have coverage. So that is what it is. But if you need medical coverage, if you're a nomad, an expat, send me an email at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com. I'll be glad to share information with you about the insurance that we use as we travel, and it's good through most countries throughout the world.
Absolutely.
So from Julie and I and our 2 dogs, have a great day, everybody.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.